Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for choosing our show. Ladies and gentlemen, politics of betrayal is not something new in our country. It began with our founding fathers of the nation, that is Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and Jomo Kenyatta. And this politics of betrayal has been perfected in our country over the years. We could talk of the infamous MOU between Raila Amolo Odinga and Mwai Kibaki. Now, the former nominated Senator Gloria Orwoba is spilling the beans on just how things are happening in the UDA government because the UDA government has perfected this politics of betrayal. In fact, it is mentioned that the only two constants in politics are betrayal and interest. I want us to listen to Gloria Orwoba because you will, when you dig deep, you realize that Orwoba sounds like she regrets messing up with that very position. She didn't realize that she was performing her duties and earning salary courtesy of the sympathy or the grace of William Ruto and the UDA government. Allow me to bring to you Gloria Orwoba, and as we do this, please like and share our videos. And if you're watching for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. This is Gloria Orwoba.
Raymond Omollo, our PS for Interior, who nowadays doesn't pick my calls and treats me like shit, used to call me every third day to give me a brief. He used to call me and tell me, oh, okay, so we're doing this, I've done this, and I've spent this much money. I've brought them here in this particular venue, I've paid this for the venue, blah, blah, blah. Then I would tell him, oh, but have you gotten that authorized? Because then he would just be like, don't worry, I'm taking care of everything. So and to be honest, he did a really good damn job. Like, he did a good job. But you see, the relationship then was that he would call me to give me a brief, and then I would call the president to give him a brief, and then would be like, Nyanza tuko fiti. All the way to the point where we were at Bomas counting. Because even when we had to bring back all the Form 34As, Raymond and his people went around in Kisumu collecting them. And in some places it was they had to collect them at gunpoint. Because that place was hostile for us, you know. So he did a really good damn job. To the point that when ODM was going to court, saying that Baba has won and whatever, when they had to produce evidence, they had to rely on our forms. They didn't even have their forms. They were very sloppy with their work. Now, here's the thing. You know, politics, as I've learned, you need to find a way to get your return on investment in terms of the work you put in and what you're expecting to get. If you don't secure that, utatumika vibaya. So at the point when there was the court case in the election petition, saying that kura zihesabiwe tena na nini na nini, Raymond couldn't even access Karen. Yeah, he couldn't access Karen. Raymond used to call me. He's like, Gloria, I'm in Nairobi, what's going on? Amerushanishwa huko, amemalizana na vitu zake, sio umeshatufanyia kazi, like ngoja kwanza tushinde hii kitu ndio tutakuja tujue kama tuko fit. He couldn't access Karen twice. And if I'm lying, let him come here and say I'm lying. Twice, he reached the gate of Karen when all of us were inside and we were waiting for what's happening with the legal thing and whatever. Those videos that used to come out before the announcement came out, I had to go and talk to the watchman at the gate to allow Raymond to enter. Yes, Raymond Omollo. Raymond Kisumu. So fast forward when people were being chosen for all these positions, but he did a good job. So people who don't know him and how he got into the space, they always say, who is this guy? But he worked. He worked for his position in the sense that the job that he did, of all the people in my team, no one else could have done it the way he did it. So he did a good job. And the president trusted him then, you see. And even when the president would call me to ask me, how is that guy I've given you working? I would be like, he's doing a good job. Oh my gosh, he has lifted a huge nini from, you know, my logistics. We are working very well with him. When the list of permanent secretaries was being put together, Raymond Kisumu called me severally because he was nervous that he was going to be played. So he missed out on the cabinet secretary slot, obviously, because he's not a politician and he didn't, there were more deserving people than him. So when it came to the permanent secretary position, Raymond called me. We had dinner with Raymond in Lavington. He was convincing me to talk to the president because things are sounding like it could be forgotten. And I did draft a very nice message reminding the president, usisahau ule mtu wetu. And I showed him. I was like, unaona ndio hii. And I hit send. And I was like, because I honestly think he did a good job. I didn't have any issues with him. I felt like he shouldn't be played and whatever. Raymond picked the Bible. I, Raymond, so-and-so, nini. The next time I went to his office, bana, sema mjaluo. Wajaluo bana. Hey.
Who are you?
Hata venye alisimama kunini. I was like, man, nigga, I used to pick you up from the gate. Then I told him, oh, now, I know those are small things. We can't do those things. Yeah. Where? Raymond doesn't pick my calls anymore. Raymond Kisumu.
So you try calling him now, you see if he'll pick.
Really? Do you want to do that?
Try calling him
Maybe
now.
he's watching the show, he'll pick. He'll say, we mpumbavu sana umeenda kunianika huko. But I was just trying to show you the nature of politics.
Listen now, if he picks, ask him, why are you not picking my calls? Tulikosania wapi? Nilikuwa watchman. Umesema wewe ulikuwa unafungua
Do you want to try? I'm calling.
Yeah.
This, of course, this is for fun because he won't pick up.
He might.
He won't pick up.
Fingers crossed. Akipika unalipia 50K.
And as it's ringing, do you know there's a time the group of PSs, they were chanting him? Because they didn't know where he came from. So they kept on trying to tell the president all sorts of negative things about him. He's hung up. They kept on trying to tell the president, Raymond Kisumu, they tried to tell the president all sorts of negative things about him. And so obviously, because I have friends who are PSs, they would echo the same things back to me. And me, don't tell me anything because me, I will tell. Like me.
Tachoma. Wiki siri.
So they would come and tell me like, oh, mtu anajifanya, kila saa anatembea na boss, anafikiria yeye ndio the blue-eyed boy, nini. So now the PSs were like, ati anatushtaki, hata tuwezi pumua, Raymond anachukua maneno yetu, anaenda anatushtaki. So like the PSs don't like him. And those who are my friends, I used to tell him, you guys just don't know this guy. Because this guy is actually a very nice guy. According to me, I've worked with him. I can say he's a nice guy. He's very professional. He might not be a politician as we are, but I think you need to give him. I used to tell the PSs, give him a chance. You understand? And I still feel like that's my position even now, because honestly, other than him being the Luo that he is and not picking my calls, hakuna mali mimi na Raymond tumekosania. You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to show you the nature of politics. And politics is that we use each other.
Gloria has revealed so much about the cabinet, about the UDA government, but the center of that discussion in that part was Raymond Omollo, who is PS Interior. Now, what does Gloria want to achieve? Because in politics, whatever a politician says, whatever a politician does, has got a particular motive. So what exactly did Orwoba want to achieve? Number one, Gloria Orwoba is revealing the politics of betrayal in the city. Because if you listen to her, Orwoba seems to be blaming indirectly William Ruto, how they worked together, but more so how she assisted the greenhorn, when Ray Omollo was still green, and it is like she mentored Ray Omollo. Ray Omollo is not a politician. She was part and parcel of the UDA government in a very chaotic environment in Nyanza, and I think Ray was tasked with the responsibility of organizing some rallies there. He really helped William Samoei Ruto. But Gloria reveals and paints a picture of a man who did not understand anything. And so it was Gloria Orwoba who helped him all the way. But you see, Gloria now says that Ray does not pick her calls. Of course, she even tried it there, and I believe either Ray himself or some of the representatives were listening. I mean, if you were Ray Omollo, would you receive that call because you would not know what Gloria wants to say? So I believe Gloria is revealing just how murky, how dirty politics is. It is use and dump. That's what they say. Once you have overlived your mandate, then they don't care. And I think someone was telling me that what does Gloria bring on board? And that is, I think Gloria miscalculated. You know, politics is about calculation. She got carried away by the mere fact that Fred Watiani had returned back to the country, and Fred was launching his bid to become the president of the country. Very many politicians are in the UDA government only because they want to finish this term up to 2026 or thereabout, but they will soon cross the floor. Gloria should have waited. Martin himself understands the kind of politics that we are in. He would have maintained her cool, then at the right moment, strike. But you see, I just think that she got carried away. So Gloria is revealing that politics is about use and dump. If it is indeed true that she helped Ray Omollo, I think she felt that Ray should have also reciprocated by now trying to help. But what kind of assistance does Gloria want? Why would she be looking for Ray Omollo? Because she reveals that Ray no longer picks or receives her calls. I have a feeling that Gloria has tried in vain to reach and make up or to apologize to William Samoei Ruto. Reaching William Ruto is not very easy. Let me tell you something about politics. I remember the former PS of ICT, if I'm not wrong, Bitange Ndemo, when there was a reshuffle that was in the Kibaki government, and Bitange was removed from his position. Bitange wondered how his phone that was usually busy, he used to receive calls every minute. But immediately there was that reshuffle and he was relieved of his duties, there was no one who was calling him. And it was like, power is something that is very funny. So Gloria was very close to William Ruto. You remember that viral video that is, is circulating where William Ruto was pinching her cheeks? People have been trying to juxtapose the same Gloria Orwoba who had some moment with William Ruto, some light moments, and the very Orwoba who was trying to access parliament, presidency by force. Power is very transient, and when you are in power, you need to be very careful. So I believe that Gloria has tried severally to reach William Ruto, but the powers that be cannot allow her. Think people like Farouk Kibet, people like Murkomen, people like Oscar Sudi, Felix Kosgei, just to name but a few. It is not very easy to reach William Ruto. I think at some point Gloria was such a person who could get into State House even without knocking, but now she's a stranger. That's why she's now trying to, go through Ray Omollo so that she can get a connection. Remember, she was the one who used to connect Ray to William Ruto, with William Ruto. Now, she wants the same service. She wants Ray to talk to William Ruto. But I believe Ray has also been given stern instructions. When the president has rejected you, there is no anyone who can talk. Maybe who can talk to the president. Maybe just people who are very close, such as, Farouk Kibet can. But once Ruto has pronounced himself that I don't want to see Gloria around, that is it. That is it. Number two, Gloria is revealing the kind of backbiting in Ruto's government, because she says there that some of the very PSs who had been appointed together with the PS Omollo used to come in and saying, huyu ni kama anajipendekeza, he's always working with the boss and is reporting us. Basically, Gloria wants Kenyans to understand that there's a lot of backbiting and dirty, kind of games going on within the government. And I think it happens even within at the cabinet level where we have the cabinet secretaries, the PSS, and all that. But even with that, Gloria says, I still stood firm and I protected Ray. She told them, you don't understand this man. So Gloria wants to paint a picture as a person who stood by her brother to the very last moment. And she wants us to understand that she's playing the victim card. Ray does not want to reciprocate. But that backbiting kind of games that are going on is something that she wants to come out. And maybe that's the reason why she would want us to start, discussing this and maybe draw the lines. Why is the cabinet not achieving its goals? Maybe because of such backbiting. Because when you continue hating your brother or sister and you can't work together, then you can't achieve your goal. Number three, Gloria regrets messing up with the powers that be. You've seen her go to court, comes with a court injunction, tries to access parliament by force, but she could not get in. Once you have revealed that there's a lot of sex scandal going on within the government, within parliament, you've painted a picture that that place is a place not worth going back. But she was still going back. And I think after staying in the cold for that period, because she was first suspended from parliament sittings for some very long period. Then, before she completed the period that she was given, then it was a double blow. The UDA relinquished her of that position. Now, like I said earlier, Orwoba did not calculate well. When you know that you're serving under the mercies of the powers that be, you don't mess up. You wait till the right moment. And I remember Waiguru did it. Waiguru tried to stick with Uhuru Kenyatta. At some point, I like giving that example. At some point, I believe she told Uhuru that you're my buddy, but it's about interest. You know that Mount Kenya has been painted yellow. Allow me to cross over. Not because I don't like you, I still stand by your side. And even perhaps during the voting, maybe she voted for Uhuru's choice. But she did react at the right moment. Orwoba reacted very early. This is not the time. Like I said, there are very many people are waiting for the right moment. And I believe she regrets leaving Ruto because she was for Matiang'i. She should have played very smart. I also see an element of Orwoba trying to reveal that the appointments that were being done were not done on meritocracy. Meritocracy is a way of appointing people who deserve in terms of merit, in terms of their intellectual capacity, in terms of what they have studied, And that is the problem that we have today, even with the if you look at the health ministry. The very moment Duale was appointed in his capacity to lead doctors, I remember doctors complained because they needed one of their own, someone who understands what is happening. But I don't know what Ruto was thinking. Now see what is happening. There's a lot of mess, So Gloria is trying to reveal a picture that these appointments were given to reward loyalty, because in a very difficult environment, when Nyanza was singing Azimio, Ray Omollo stood by the Hustler Nation and worked for the Hustler Nation. So Gloria is revealing that he was rewarded for being loyal, maybe not being, he really did deserve in terms of his intellect. And I think this is just but a drop in an ocean. You remember people like Machogu, when we had the late Magoha and there was that immediate transition, and you try to compare the late Magoha and Machogu, and even Ogamba that we have now, there's a lot of mess in the education, the whole of education system. Monies are being paid to schools that don't exist. If you look at the health ministry, monies are being paid to hospitals that do not exist, and it tells you that maybe the system is rotten. So if you see the system not working, a failed system, then Gloria is just telling you that most of them were rewarded. Machogu contested for the Kisii gubernatorial position, Kisii or Nyamira, if I'm not wrong. Most of Ruto's cabinet was full of politicians. You know, politicians like bickering rather than working. Blame game and shifting, blame game and shifting goalposts. And that is why perhaps things are not working. And so, in a very clever way, Gloria was telling you that these were appointees based on your loyalty to the government. I don't know what you think, but the murky waters of politics is something that is not very easy to cross. And I believe she's regretting ako kwa baridi. Why should she be calling Ray Omollo? Amsaidie na nini? Now Ray is closer to power than she. She used to help because she was very close to power. That's a lesson even to the people who are working under Ruto. Things do change. And Gloria has confirmed that indeed politics is just about interest and betrayal. And she has tasted the bitter taste of this betrayal. I don't know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to subscribe and like our videos.